All right, let's get started. It's right at 6 o'clock and the waiting room is empty for now. Just a reminder, if you've forgotten who I am, David Truitt, Superintendent. And I thought I'd start off with just a few reminders and goal explanation for the night. First off, good evening to you, the class of 2021 parents and students. Many of you have been checking in pretty regularly with us about prom and other senior events, specifically the graduation plan. And following the Christmas break, like you, we had hoped we'd receive some new guidance for holding these events from the state, but to date, we have not. But with senior pictures this week, we felt we should go ahead and meet to share with what we know as of today, Monday, May 25th, knowing the COVID-19 risk mitigation plan could look totally different in the months of April and May. And so tonight I've asked for several counseling updates to be shared with you by Ms. Scott and Mrs. Lavinka. And then Mr. Klander is going to share information about graduation, prom, and other senior events. And again, the key information tonight is about the dates and times, because the specifics, frankly, will be hard to address. Remember, we're still at 50% capacity for events, and there's still plans in place that don't allow for things that probably will come up tonight about senior trips and field trips and even guests in our buildings. So with that said, I greatly appreciate everyone's positivity and positive approach to this school year, specifically everyone's flexibility to the many changes in our return to learn and play plans. Just this afternoon, I saw in an email from Nurse Tabola that said we only have 3 students and staff members that are positive with lab confirmed COVID-19 cases in West ISD here at the start of this week. I think you'll all agree that is amazing. And that's really our lowest total, case total since September. And it's all because of your hard work. And so I'm so thankful. And this data just shows why I have great hope for all these senior events that are to come this semester. Because it's our goal to have as many in person with as many guests as possible. Please know this isn't our only senior meeting we will host. We'll commit to hosting several Zooms throughout the semester. And for each meeting, I'll hit record and then load the video to our West ISD YouTube channel so folks can go back and check it out later. I'll even send the link out, especially to our students through their Gmail. We must continue, so I'm going to commit tonight to communicating at a high level, any and all changes and updates so that you guys know exactly what's going on. So we will do that. So for tonight, let's use the chat feature for questions, and we'll answer as many of them as we can as we go through our speakers. And just remember to stay on mute so our speakers can get through their information. If there's a question we can't answer, I'll write it down and we'll get back with you. I can even print out the chat and we can post an FAQ from here on out. So again, I'm just so thankful you're here tonight, and go seniors. All right, let's kick it off. I've asked Ms. Scott to share a little bit about senior scholarships and FAFSA, just to make sure we're all on the same page about those two most important topics.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Truitt. First of all, I'll start off with FAFSA. Of course, that opened up back October 1st in the fall, and through School Messenger, I want to say October, November, I did send a checklist from the MAC Foundation. So if you still need to get the FAFSA in, your student needs to get that done, by all means, still get that in. The state deadline was for priority consideration was January 15th. However, still get it in. Let's get that done for various reasons, scholarship purposes, etc. And also, if you need help or assistance completing the FAFSA, let me know. We have some great resources through the MAC Foundation program that can help us. So email me or call me. I'll be happy to help. The second thing, I wanted to squeeze again a couple of things that weren't on the agenda, but applying to colleges and universities. I know several students right before Christmas were working on it, right after Christmas. So please encourage your child to make sure they apply. Always have a backup plan to MCC or TSTC, but the best way to do that is go to applytexas.org, and the student has to create an account, which then they set up a profile, and then they need to make sure that they do the next step, which is complete the application portion in Apply Texas. So that is important to do. The third thing, scholarships, which is a big one. It's that time of year where we're starting to get all the local vendors to reach out to us with updated applications. So the best way to access that information is go to the West ISD website, and on the student tab across the top, click on that and scroll down to scholarships. There's a little link there, and it will take you directly to our scholarship information page. It's set up by the name of the scholarship, the deadline, due date, and then the eligibility for that particular scholarship. And I was looking at it earlier today, and there's several that are due here at the end of this month, and of course continuing the rest of the months into the spring. So strongly encourage you and your child to take advantage of that if you haven't done so already. And please, at any time, email me or call me if you have any questions, can't find something or need assistance. And then the last thing I want to share tonight, Mr. Truitt and I were talking about this last week. April 13th, we will be having an SAT school day. And if you recall, back in the fall was when we had our seniors sign up and take it, and the school paid for it. Well, this spring, we have the same thing, but it's for our juniors. And so I talked to Mr. Truitt, Ms. Adams, and we are going to open that up to any senior that is interested in taking the SAT school day at West High School the morning of April 13th. And the only thing, though, that is a little bit different, because the school paid for the fall registration, we're asking parents to pay, or the student to pay, the $52 if they're interested in signing up and paying to take the test. And again, it's going to be a sign up and pay all together. It's not where you sign up and then pay later. It's going to be sign up and pay at the same time. So again, it's $52 if your child is interested. They need to bring cash or a check payable to West High School, and that can be taken care of in the counseling suite with Mrs. Julie Meckel. And I've communicated with her today, so she's aware that this is, I'm putting this out there today, and so students can start signing up tomorrow. The deadline will be to sign up, because I have to go into College Board and order these tests. The deadline is going to be next week, Wednesday, February 3rd, for the seniors to sign up. So again, email me, call me if you have questions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Scott. If you have questions for her, put them in the chat, and we'll make sure we get those answered before we exit the Zoom tonight. Now we're going to shift to Mrs. Levinka, who's going to talk about senior transcripts and other senior information. Take it away, Sharon.
Hey, I just want to piggyback off of Ms. Scott for a second. One of the misconceptions, I think, especially if this is your first student to be applying to college in general, it used to be thought that you only applied for FAFSA if you thought you were going to qualify for some kind of student loans, but your colleges will not even put together an awards package, including scholarships, without you applying and submitting your FAFSA document. So that's a must, unless you're planning to pay cash or pay out of pocket directly for your tuition. So just want to make sure that y'all understand the importance of completing that FAFSA. The other thing on scholarships, I know I've gotten a couple of emails asking for letters of recommendation directly from the scholarship. So our students are applying for scholarships. They need letters of recommendation, but they've not alerted me that they've put me down as a reference, and which is fine. I know to look for those things, but you probably, students that are on here and parents, as your students are applying, make sure that you're making those people, those individuals aware that you're using them for recommendations, so that they can be looking for those links. Because sometimes it can also go to your spam, so it could be overlooked very easily. And one just pointer, I guess, is it's always a good idea if you're asking somebody to give you a letter of recommendation, to give them your activity resume, so that they have some information. We know a lot of our students, but we don't necessarily know all of the activities that you're involved in. And so that activity resume is very helpful for those that you're asking to submit letters of recommendation for. So just 2 notes on that before I went to transcripts. A couple of things. I know some of our students are very anxiously awaiting the updated GPAs and ranks since our semester closed. Since grades were just final the end of last week, I am this week going through and verifying transcripts and GPAs. And so my goal is to have those completed and updated by the end of the week. I know I've got to have MCC transcripts to MCC for the MCC Foundation Scholarship by the end of the week. If your student submitted the MCC Foundation Scholarship, please make sure that you have also requested that I send the transcript to MCC. And I'll be doing that, like I said, by the end of the week, because they do like to have those first semester grades on there. The other thing, as they're applying for college, it sometimes gets confusing. The colleges will have a checklist for your students, especially those 4-year colleges. One of the first checkoffs will be that we submit a transcript. But then there's also going to be a request for a final transcript. Those final transcripts, what that's referring to is the transcript that includes all grades through the end of the year. Those are sent in June. So that won't be something that's you're able to check off right now. It will not keep your student from being admitted to college as long as we've sent a transcript to the college. And most of those, if you're applying into the state of Texas, that goes electronically through TREX. If your student, or in the students that are on here, if you're taking dual credit classes or you ever have taken a dual credit course and you're applying to a 4-year college, then you have to remember to also submit a transcript request to MCC for your MCC grades to be transferred to your 4-year college. And I've got those transcript requests for MCC forms in my office as well. And we can send that electronically through email to MCC so that it doesn't cost you anything. So just stop by if you've got any transcript questions. I think that's all for now, at least. And at the end of the year, right before graduation, I always get with the seniors and actually get them to list what colleges they might be going to. So I do give every single one of them a final transcript request form to complete. A lot of times the parents aren't aware that I do that, just because we do it usually that last week while we've got the seniors, whether it's during pictures or whatever, but so that I make sure that I've got one for each and every student. So I take care of that kind of in-house. And at the very least, I usually ask them to list either MCC or TSTC as a possibility. I think that's it.
All right, great information there, Sharon. Thank you. Again, the chat feature, if you have questions for Ms. Scott or Mrs. Levinka, and we'd be happy to answer them tonight while we're all together. Now we're going to shift to one of the big topics that kind of generated my thoughts of needing this meeting. Senior pictures are this week, so exciting. So we're going to have Kim Woodard share about senior picks. Take it away, Kim.
Thank you. So the students should have gotten the schedule for senior picks in their email a while back. And we also sent out an information sheet to the about that. We actually sent the information sheet out right when we got back from Christmas. But I just sent the schedule, I think, one day last week. So they start tomorrow. The girls will take tomorrow. The boys will take on Wednesday. The main thing is just, to tell your son or daughter to make sure they come at their scheduled time so we don't get backed up or anything. With the boys, one of the biggest things that we run into every year is they have facial hair. And so with the mask this year, it's been a little bit hard to see that sometimes. So if you'll please make sure that your sons' faces are shaved, because otherwise we'll probably, or not probably, we'll send them to shave before they take their pictures. As far as ordering pictures, they're going to supply an email, or either have the email that we sent from the information that we had, and you will get proofs sent to that email, and then you will order all of your pictures through the online ordering system that they have, and it's Interstate Studio, which is the one that we use all the time. At this time, we are only doing the cap and gown pictures. The reason being, our photographer does not supply any of the clothing anymore. They used to supply the tux, the wrap, the drapes, the caps, the gowns, and everything. And due to COVID, they went away from that. So we have the caps, the gowns, the tassels, we have the red stoles, we have the NHS collars, all of that. We're going to try to steam them in between every picture. But the question came up from some of the seniors about wanting to do the drape pictures and the tux pictures. So I told them that we're not going to they came up with the thing of canceling this photographer and trying to find a whole new one. That's not going to happen. We're going to go with this photographer. We're going to get the caps and gown pictures taken this week. And then I told them that I would try to find another photographer that could possibly take those. I know Mr. Klander is going to talk a little bit later, I think, about the group senior picture and the way we do that. And so we're going to try, I've actually already got an email into that photographer and seeing if he could offer a drape and a tux picture on the day they come do that. So we are checking into it. We're not saying absolutely no. We know that some of them want that. Another question was, well, will the drape and those pictures be able to be in the yearbook? And because of my deadlines, probably not. We're going to go with the cap and gown picture. So we'll use the one where they're holding the caps for the yearbook. And I think that's all I have, unless somebody has a question.
Check in the chat, and it's still empty. So if anybody has counseling or picture questions, we'll answer them. Just jump on the chat and let's see what you've got. Why don't we keep rolling, and I'll keep checking in at the chat in between topics here with Mr. Klander. We'll answer any questions we get. I've asked Mr. Klander to share about senior events and graduation, and I know he even has more details and other things he's thought of. So take it away, Mr. Klander, kind of the star of tonight. Let's hear the good news happening at West High School for our senior class.
You know, it's getting to be an exciting time today. We actually had a teacher meeting this afternoon, and I believe it was Ms. Snook that brought up, I think she said we were somewhere around 82 days left in their school year. So there's really not a lot of time left, and it's really a good time to start thinking about some of these big events for our senior class. As you all know, we did our first graduation last year at our Trojan Stadium, and it really turned out very well. And we're going to continue on with that new tradition because it's a great way to celebrate our kids here in West. With our current guidelines being at 50%, though, it does limit the quantity of people that we're able to let in, and we're going to wait and kind of see what those numbers are once we move a little bit closer. But we thought we'd go ahead and share with you the dates for our graduation right now, and even some contingency plans to let you know the what ifs. So right now our graduation is scheduled for Friday, May 28th at 7:30 at Trojan Stadium. Now, in the event that we have inclement weather, which we all know can happen this time of year, we've scheduled a second option as being Saturday morning at 10 a.m. If for some reason we are still under the gun with bad weather, we would then move our graduation ceremony to the indoor arena, and that would be Saturday night at 7:30 in the arena, where it's a little more climate controlled there. So just put that on your calendar as May 28th as being our target date for graduation. Again, we will live stream this as we did last year. I think we had, Mr. Truitt, you might be able to help me here with the number, somewhere around 1,400 views of our graduation last year off of our YouTube channel. So that was a really good thing right there for our families that weren't able to make it due to different health constraints and things like that. We will be looking at doing some senior pictures around our graduation preparation time. And just like Ms. Woodard was saying, we're in contact with one of our local photographers who can take the pictures as he did last year and digitally puts those into a group. So that's really what we'll do for our group photo this year. And we have a schedule that we'll set out for all of our seniors. That way they're able to see that. Kind of jumping from that position there, looking at the next big events for our seniors is really our prom. And, you know, this is one of those things that we were able to host it last year on a very limited basis. This year, we're still anxiously waiting for different types of regulations and notifications from the county, from the state, and even other organizations that what we can and can't do in numbers and so forth. But as it is right now, we do have our prom scheduled. We're looking at April 10th. That prom would be there at Casey Hall, which is a great venue for our kids. It would be scheduled from 7:30 to 10:30. And as always, we do have that minimum arrival time of being 9 p.m. In the past, we've been able to do an after prom party at Baylor. Again, not sure if that's going to be an option. So we're tentatively looking at opportunities, but again, we have to be conscious of all of the COVID restraints that we have to follow. There's been a big question about food and things like that at the prom. You know, everything there would be a pre-packaged situation, closed surface drinks, any kind of snacks would be individual wraps, things of that nature. So again, we're doing what we can to help mitigate. And this would include all of our students wearing masks to the prom. So that's going to be one of those things. And the next big question came about, well, what about outside guests? And currently we're still looking at different options. But you know, to give you a concrete answer right now, we're still trying to make our good decision. That's going to be, first of all, an opportunity for as many of our students from West to be there, because, you know, we have a limited quantity of students that can be in that hall at one time. So we have to think about the number of students from West being there, first of all. And secondly, just about the health concerns, to be aware of others, not knowing where these individuals may be coming from, what their current health situation are. So that information right now will be pending a little bit more information as we prepare for this. Moving from that right there, just a couple of things as a reminder for our parents. Whenever we do the prom, the promenade, you know, is always a big event at West. And this is one of those situations where our senior parents are in charge of that. So those of you that are on with us tonight, please make plans that that's really an opportunity for you to celebrate your kids as they make their entrance into the prom. So those are some of those type of things. I also want to mention a few other dates tonight that you might want to put down on your calendar. And these are always some big events for us. And we're really hoping that we're able to do these type of things in face-to-face. We were able to do them virtually last year, but we're really going to do everything we can to do a face-to-face with these. The first of those being our baccalaureate service. Right now we have that scheduled for Sunday, May 16th at 6 p.m. Location would be there at the high school, whether we're in the auditorium or possibly the arena, but in the school itself, and that would be at May 16th at 6 p.m. Following that, we would have our scholarships and awards night at 7 p.m. We want to do everything we can in a face-to-face as much as possible. So we'll be getting information out with that as well. I'm sure in these type of situations, we may also look at doing some type of a live stream for family members that can't be there. We have some meetings throughout the year, and we talk about some of the things that came from our COVID experiences last year that were good situations. And one of those that came about was our senior parade. That was a huge success. It was something we were really proud to celebrate our kids and let the community help in that. So we thought this would be a great opportunity to continue this type of tradition. So we have this scheduled for Saturday, May 22nd, and we'll have our senior parade here in West again. If you were with us last year, it was a pretty long parade. It was pretty warm that afternoon, but we're probably going to cut this down just a little bit, do it a little earlier in the morning, so we're able to maybe have some more folks out and be able to enjoy our kids as they come through on the parade route. We do have to get some approval from the city on this parade route, so those things again will be pending the city approval, which we really feel like it should be something that we should get, but wanted you to put that on your calendar. So that would be Saturday, May 22nd at 10 a.m. And I'm sure we'll start that at the high school and make our route from that point. One more big thing that would be important for our seniors and their parents to know is, you know, we get to that last week of school as we're getting prepared for graduation. There's always a lot of events that we want to make sure we can do. There's been some questions about senior trips and and different activities like that. And currently, just because of the mitigation things we have to go through, not really sure we'd be able to do a senior trip because, we would hate to take our kids as well as they've been doing, working to mitigate COVID through our school and expose them to somebody who they don't know or some situation they're not aware of, which would then in turn maybe keep them from being able to walk the stage in that celebration. So that's one of those things that could still be up in the air. But one of the things that we are going to do is we're going to have probably 3 days that last week of school set aside for senior activities. One of those that Ms. Woodard did mention was about doing those individual photos and then possibly some other dress attire for students to be able to take pictures with. So right now we have a senior picture day scheduled for Wednesday, May 26th. And this would be something where our students would sign up for times. They would come in. Their attendance would be taken by them being there for their picture. So that's kind of one of those things there. Our second day would be on Thursday, on the May 27th. And this would be when we would have our senior video slideshow presentation. It would also be a day for student activities where we have all of our kids together for one last big fun time at the campus. When we do this, I want to remind all of our parents that this senior slideshow or our senior video is, again, something that you guys typically take care of because you have all of those pictures for kids. And so just put that on your radar that if you want to start working on that, it's never too early for those type of things to occur. Our last big event would be our senior breakfast. And this would be on the 28th, that morning, where we would have our senior breakfast. We will probably have to limit this just to our senior students, though, just again because of possible health concerns with those coming into the building. And we still have students on campus that day as well. But we'll have our senior breakfast. We'll also do our graduation practice at the stadium and try to release our students as quickly as we can, so that way they can prepare for that graduation ceremony that evening. So there's a lot of things going on. We'll start that graduation practice and senior breakfast, all of that about 9 o'clock that Friday morning, and then get the kids back home, let them get cleaned up and let them get ready for all of that from there. We're going to try to work on some other events throughout the year. And as we get those, we want to make sure that we, just as Mr. Truitt said, communicate that effectively with everybody. So those students that are currently on here with us, be aware you need to continue checking that school email because that is our best way to reach out to you. Parents, we have emails on file for all of you, so we can also pass some of that information to you through that manner. Does anyone have any questions for us tonight?
Mr. Klander, there's a chat question. If you could repeat the senior graduation date along with if we have rain on that Friday, what's the plan for Saturday?
Okay, so our our graduation date would be Friday, May 28th at 7:30. In the event that we have inclement weather that Friday night, we would move that to, again, keeping as an outdoor ceremony at 10 a.m. on the 29th. If for some reason the weather was still inclement, we would move it indoors for Saturday at 7:30. So that'd be Saturday, May 29th at 7:30 indoors if we're unable to do that Saturday morning event.
The next question is about parents being able to take pictures and attend events. Parents, that's back to the specifics I mentioned in my intro that we just don't know where things will be in May. Right now, obviously, guests are not allowed in the buildings with our students when class is in session. So outdoor things versus indoor things are a big difference right now on January 25th, but who knows again what it will be in May. So I just can't commit yet to in the building for pictures and parents. So we'll have to get back to you on that one as it gets closer. Other questions we can answer? There was one more at the top, but it was Mrs. Yannick thanking us for live streaming the graduation. So of course we'll live stream it and make sure we have that option. I'm just, I know Chuck and I were talking earlier. I know y'all parents, you start worrying about tickets and who you can invite. I just want to remind all of you that the 8 tickets last year was based on a 25% figure, and we're not at 25% right now. We're at 50. And so we need to do calculations of Trojan Field at 50% capacity with skipping the rows and family units being separated from each other. So we just can't commit tonight to a ticket amount, but obviously you can do the math and kind of figure out where we're heading in this if 25% was 8 tickets. And so we'll see what we can do as it gets closer, and who knows, that 50% could be gone, you know, by then for outdoor events. So let's not worry too much about ticket amounts here in January, and just keep praying and hoping that everything will get better as we move through the spring semester here. And again, that's our hope. Are there any other questions we can answer? If you don't want to chat and just want to jump out and take your mute button off, that's fine too. We're all family and here to help.
Mr. Tritt, I
Yes.
don't know, I forgot when I was speaking earlier, I had talked to Ms. Mailer. We did talk to our rep for the cap and gown, and anybody that has not yet ordered, the very last chance to order to get it in for graduation is February 19th. And I don't have an updated list, but Ms. Mailer does, on who has or who has not ordered. So if there's a question of whether or not it's been ordered, they can either email me or call tomorrow, and we can find out for certain if it's been ordered or not. But February 19th is the last chance, and you do have to order online. And we've sent that link a few times through email, both to the student and to the parents. Cadence, I see your question about when will we get them. I don't have a date on that. Part of it, they usually do one big shipment for those that ordered by the first deadline. And then if you ordered after that first deadline, then they kind of trickle in depending on when you order.
And Sharon, we had a student ask that the other day, and so I emailed our rep and asked, and he said that they should be in around spring break.
Good information. Anybody else have a question for the chat, or just getting off your mute? Going once, going twice. All right, we'll commit again to hosting one next month. Great turnout. We had almost 40 as a high during this Zoom tonight. And so in my mind, maybe we hit a little under half of the senior class, which is a good start. But it's great to see and hear from everybody. And we appreciate your support during these challenging times. And again, we're committed to the best spring semester we can possibly have for your seniors. So thank you again for being here. Email us or call us if you have other questions that you didn't share tonight. We're here to help. All right, y'all take care. Have a nice evening.
David, there was one more chat question.
Oh,
About
all right.
when does the slideshow need to be completed? Sharon, do y'all kind of have a timeline? I mean, just before, I guess. I don't know,
Thursday,
the end of that
May 27th is the event.
I would say before the
Before then.
27th. I was typing, but not typing fast enough, Jenny. But usually we try to get pictures collected by spring break if possible. That way, whoever's putting it together has plenty of time to get those pictures together, make sure they're all scanned in digitally, and then produce the video. So stay tuned for information if somebody wants to step up and put that slideshow together. I know Jana and I are both on as senior parents, so you guys can kind of let us know. And in the past, usually we do try to help collect the pictures if we're not the ones putting it together. So, but y'all can, if somebody is interested in helping to put that together, just let us know.
Will we have the cap and gown pictures in time for a spring break deadline, since the cap and gown pictures are so late?
So that's a little bit different. Normally, Ms. Woodard gets that to us. So that's not a picture that you as parents have to get to us. The pictures that parents will get to us, and they usually ask for 3. One being like a baby type infant picture, and then one through elementary years and one through middle school years, just so that everybody has kind of the same pictures throughout the slideshow. You could, I guess, possibly add a fourth if you want to add one for high school that's in addition to a cap and gown. But also with 100 students times that many pictures, it makes it pretty lengthy sometimes. So so that's why they've, I know in the past several years, they've tried to kind of limit so that it's pretty structured as it goes through the slideshow. Does that answer your question?
Yes, and will there be a time for like senior cap and gown retakes if this isn't a good picture day? You know, because everybody takes bad pictures at some point, and so I'm just asking.
We will. We don't have one scheduled yet. I was trying to wait to see about how many we're going to have, because I know we even have some quarantine that need to do the retake. So I will put that out as soon as these are finished and I find out how many we have to do.
Mr. Clander, I think Sharon and Janet were volunteering to do the slideshow. Didn't you hear that?
You know, my computer was coming in and out right there, so I don't know for a fact. But you know, I'm sure they are willing assistance in some form or fashion with that. So I know there's a lot of information that people need to know about that, and we'll get all that out to our seniors. Again, those would be great things that we'll probably send through our school emails to those folks. So again, really push our seniors to continue checking that school email. It's a Gmail account, and it's a great way for us to get everybody information in a quick and easy manner.
We had two questions again about submitting the pictures, and Sharon was offering if you email them to her, she'll start collecting them, even though she was saying she would put them together. I was messing. All right, other questions before we go? I didn't want to shut it off too soon earlier, and we got several more great questions. Okay. All right, seeing none. All right, go seniors. Y'all have a nice evening.